Well, it's not quite the gunfight at the OK Corral. It's not quite a showdown at high noon in the city square. But when your favorite rainbow unicorn fluffy bunny gets viciously attacked for no reason, a real cowboy just can't stand by and do nothing. Welcome to the Unindoctrination Station. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, and we're here to talk a little bit about my friend, the lovely Magenta Pixie. And I find myself for the second time in a week in a very odd situation. I don't normally, do videos about other people and get other people's back. I don't normally have the need to. This is only the third time since I've been on YouTube that I've ever had to do anything like this. And, it's been said that all that is necessary for evil to flourish is for good people to stand by and do nothing. And I can't stand by and do nothing. The last time I had to do this in regards to my friend Young Pharaoh, it was a bit of a different situation. That time was a very low integrity individual, an individual just trying to destroy an individual driven only by ego and by profit. This time I think it's a little different, where I'm going to talk about the person that attacked Magenta, because that's not really the point. We're going to talk about Magenta, but it is important. And I think this person was acting out of hurt, and I think this person is acting out of ignorance. And I don't mean ignorant, I mean ignorant lack of knowledge, because I don't think this person had ever listened to more than one video from Magenta, had not read any of her books, and I have. And I understand the knee-jerk reactionary aspect of it, because I've been known to do that myself at times. But I know, because I've had Magenta on this channel several times, I've been on her channel, and I know what kind of a person she is. And it's the craziest thing that me, Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian whistleblower, would be here defending the fluffy, buffy, rainbow, fluffy bunny, rainbow unicorn, Magenta Pixie. But as I looked at Magenta and I studied Magenta, she's saying so much of the same things that I say. She's just saying it in different language into a different audience. And as my lovely wife says so often, that these are the days where we need to come together, not the days where we need to be fighting one another. And Magenta Pixie's message, whether you believe it or not, I'm convinced, and she shared, at least at the time she shared it, agreement that we are speaking some of the same truths, and our effort was to reach across the aisle and talk to one another. But people say, Jeff, why the heck do you have to stick up for Young Pharaoh? Why the heck do you have to stick up for Magenta Pixie? Well, I'll try to give you some idea of why I'm doing it by sharing this little quick video that I'm going to share via fair use. This will give you an idea of why I'm doing it, and then I'll do it. And then we'll get ready for Late Night in the Heartland tonight, which comes on at 10 p.m. Central Time. So let me just share this with you, and this will kind of give you the idea of why I'm doing what I'm doing. And without any further delay, just go ahead and have a listen to this. Let me make sure the volume's all the way up. It is. Here we go. It's 19 seconds.
Doc. Sort of be in bed. What the hell are you doing this for anyway?
White Oak is my friend.
Hell, I got lots of friends.
I don't.
And I feel the same way Doc does. I don't have lots of friends, and I don't have lots of people that I respect, but Magenta Pixie is one of them, and Young Pharaoh is one of them, and I will stick up for them. It's just what I have to do. And when I heard these vicious words hurled at Magenta Pixie, I was hurt by it. It's like watching somebody, kick a puppy. I mean, she's not a puppy, but she's very, very strong and powerful, but yet you want to protect her because, she's just that kind of person. So this is what I thought about, and I'm going to share this with you real quickly, and then we'll we will get into a little bit of reaction of what I want to talk about, just to make sure I'm on the right thing here. We'll get into a little bit of reacting to what this person said, and I pulled an all-nighter last night studying for tonight's late night in the Heartland. Literally, I was up until 7 this morning, so I may not be on top of my game, but we are still in the fight, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at this right here. And this is a verse out of your script, out of the Bible, which, I think is a fear and guilt, blood magic, trauma-based mind control matrix, but it does contain disclosures and things that tell us how to defeat the cabal. And this is one of the things. And when I saw this person attack Magenta, I immediately thought of her, and I thought of her in these terms. Pure and undefiled religion before our God and Father is this: to care for orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. And I immediately this is what came to my mind when I started thinking about Magenta. And this doesn't mean what we've been taught it means. I'd just like to show you real quickly what it actually means. It means clean, pure, unstained, ceremonially innocent, guiltless, upright. And Magenta Pixie is all of those things. She is an embodiment of all of those things. And she is clean, pure, unstained. She's innocent. She's upright. She's guiltless. She's all of those things. Pure and undefiled. Undefiled means free from contamination. I believe she is that as well. And it says religion, but what it really means is reverence or worship of our gods, the way that we express our devotion to our gods. And when I think of Magenta Pixie, I think of clean, pure, guiltless devotion to our gods. And it says, again, before our gods, it's not necessarily the God. It says right here, the creator, it's of gods generally. And Magenta Pixie is a person of diversity. She's not a person of it's my way or the highway. So this reminded me of her. And even Father doesn't mean what you think it means. It means our ancestors and our elders. And this is what this fellow didn't understand about Magenta Pixie. And we'll get into that. And the idea is to care, ladies and gentlemen, to look, visit, to go out of your way for. And I think that's what Magenta is all about. And orphans doesn't necessarily mean orphans, but those that are bereaved, those that are fatherless, those that are desolate. And we're in a world today of bereaved, desolate, fatherless individuals. And Magenta Pixie offers a great service to people like that. And there's many people today that are in distress, which means affliction, persecution, and tribulation. And the message of Magenta Pixie is very, very important in reaching out to people like this without self-serving, without an agenda, without trying to build a huge channel, without trying to make a lot of money, without trying to do it from ego and a self-driven, if anybody's ever been service to others, it's Magenta Pixie. That's why it distressed me so when she was so viciously attacked. And the idea is to try to keep herself, interestingly enough, to keep herself from being polluted, which means stained, defiled, and being spotted. And I think this person is trying to delude her and pollute her. And it's by the world, which means this present system, these worldly affairs. And that just reminded me so much of Magenta Pixie. She is pure. She is undefiled in the worship of gods and our ancestors. And she cares for those that are hurting. She cares for those that are in need. And she is putting herself in front of bullets for people and teaching people how to dodge their own bullets, matrix style. And that's why I take to the air, not because Pixie asked me to, she didn't. Not because Pixie needs me, she doesn't, but because the only thing that is necessary for evil to flourish is for good people to stand by and do nothing. And this person accused Magenta, and I'm going to go through their comments here real quickly. They accused her of being and this person was on my channel. I mean, the name of his channel he got from me. I don't have a copyright on the word, but he kind of hijacked my name. That's okay. I understand. But he said that she was pushing QAnon and that she was saying that we all should just be passive and let QAnon take care of everything. Well, first of all, that's not true. I don't know how Magenta Pixie feels about Fight Club, but I do know that Magenta Pixie never has and never will teach stand by, do nothing, and wait for somebody else to come save you. I've read Magenta's books, and her books gave me a profound insight into what it really means to go inside and to discover your divinity, to discover your sovereignty, to discover your freedom, and to activate your own. It was Magenta Pixie that kind of taught me, yeah, I know I'm divine, but the way you become sovereign is by actually doing things out of your divinity. And then actually starting to do things out of your divinity makes you become free. And this is what Magenta Pixie's teaching. If Magenta Pixie, being a British person, is smart enough to look across the ocean and see a great man like Donald Trump fighting for truth, and you could apply that verse to Donald Trump. He's trying to fight for those things that are pure and undefiled and those that are being subjected to what we're being subjected to. And he said that Magenta Pixie was a psyop. I don't think that he even knows what a psyop is. And this term psyop gets thrown around and nobody defines it. If you want to know what a psyop is, watch tonight when we talk about Ted Bundy and the demonization of the white male. That's a psyop. Magenta Pixie reaching across the aisle. We had a literal talk. Magenta, you are very much fluffy bunny, new age unicorn. I'm red hot, smacking them around, Christian whistleblower, kind of truther. She's new age. And we talked to each other, said, what if we could reach across the aisle? And we did. And we did. And that's what this is about. So it's not about Magenta talking about sit around and do nothing. It's about Magenta reaching out to a very vast movement. And he says, Magenta channels. She says, don't do anything. Just sit around and channel other beings. Well, sir, you have a profound ignorance in regards to what Magenta Pixie means by channeling. If you've ever read one of her books, if you have ever watched more than one of her videos, you would know. I had the same problem with Magenta. And I read and I listened and I heard her say, yes, I do channel this. I think she calls it the White Wing Council of Nine. But do you know what the White Wing Council of Nine is? Do you know what Magenta Pixie thinks the White Wing Council of Nine is? It's her. Magenta, as far as I know, says that this White Wing Council of Nine is her. It is her externalized higher self, maybe from the future, maybe from other dimensions, but it's absolutely brilliant. And one of the keys to being able to be fully divine and fully sovereign and fully free, and I'm still learning this, and Magenta Pixie is still teaching me that we think we can just be divine, sovereign, and free within this matrix that we're in. Oh, no, 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 no. Magenta broadens your horizons and says, yes, you can be divine, sovereign, and free where you are, but you can be divine, sovereign, and free across all of your dimensional aspects, across all of time, like Cynthia says. It's her memories and her higher self from across all time. So she's not channeling other entities. You dummy, you messed up. You savagely attacked a beautiful person because you didn't know what she was even saying. She's not channeling beings or entities. She's tapping into her own higher self, expressed beyond this one physical, energetic manifestation of herself. Magenta Pixie is channeling Magenta Pixie. And because you didn't take the time to figure that out, you put yourself in a horrible situation of attacking a beautiful being. And I feel sorry for you. I feel that you're hurting. I feel that you're in a dark place, or you're heading towards it, and I hope that you'll pull up, because I don't think that deep down you're a bad guy. That last guy went after, he's a bad guy. He's a black magic bad guy, and he just wants fame and money. But I don't think you're there. So please pull up, pull up. And again, he says that she's just about waiting for other people to come and save you. You know, Magenta Pixie is all about looking in. She calls it the 0 point. And when you get to the 0 point, that means you've done the shadow work. That means that you've gone inside and searched and found out who you are. And you get to that 0 point of all. 0 point to me, as I understand it from her books, means you've got rid of all the indoctrination. You've got rid of all the garbage. You've got rid of all the isms. You've got rid of all the bad things anybody ever taught you. And now you have cleaned up all the garbage. And now you're ready to start building again. That's what Magenta Pixie talks about. She's not channeling. She's brilliant. This person is anti-Donald Trump. I don't know why you have to be anti-Donald Trump. And you can be anti-Donald Trump, but why be anti-people that like Donald Trump? That is not what we need within our movement today. This is a time we need to come together, not a time that we need to be against one another. And he yells at her for saying, oh, you're all intuitives. And he says he thinks that she's saying, just listen to Magenta. She's not saying that at all. When Magenta Pixie says, for you to be an intuitive, she means listen to yourself. Listen to your white-winged council of 9 or whatever. Listen to your higher self, and don't limit yourself to just this one version of yourself. Tap into all of yourselves across all of the different dimensionalities and times and frequencies. When she's saying be intuitive, she's not saying wait for somebody to come save you. She's saying find the other parts of you to help save you. Like Tracy says, she's talking about inner voice guidance of your own inner voice. And he says that he takes her to task for, no, there's 2 streams, there's 2 timelines, and you're either on a good one or you're on a bad one. Well, number one, that's probably true. But Magenta Pixie doesn't say it like it's a zero-sum game, like you're either on one or the other. She's not into a dichotomy. In fact, Magenta Pixie taught me how to hold more than one competing idea in my mind simultaneously. And she puts it so well in her books, because when you do that, I'll just use something that's very simple. Flat Earth, globe Earth. If you hold both of those things as a reality in your mind, then you can see the arguments and the logic, and you have access to all of the data on both sides of the coin. Another one like, there is no heaven, there is a heaven. If you say, no, there's not a heaven, and you pick a side, then you are shutting yourself off to all of the possibilities on the other side. And I don't care how smart you are. As long as you're here where we are, we don't know everything. So we need to keep a mental elasticity. And Magenta Pixie taught me that. And that's what she's trying to say is, look, don't paint yourself into a corner. Be open to both timelines. Be open to learning, understanding why. I mean, if you're walking, if you're living in a room and there's a line painted down the middle, and this side is yours and that side is not yours, if you see a $50 bill within reach on the other side, will you reach across the line and pick it up? You're a damn fool if you don't. That's all Magenta's saying. That's all Magenta's saying. If you see a $50 bill and it's a little bit outside your realm, pick it up if you can reach it. If there's an idea that works, take it. It doesn't matter where it came from. It's called eat the meat and spit out the bones. For our vegetarians, it's called eat the fruit and throw out the peels. I know some of you eat the peels too, but I'm talking to people that aren't crazy. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What did he say? She didn't make the... Oh, and he's talking about this video because she... You know, I guess he thinks Magenta Pixie got nothing but time, and that she sat down and personally crafted this background imagery that was going in her video. It's just something she got from something she subscribed to. She didn't make it. She didn't make the butterflies. She didn't make the colors. She just put something nice up there for a picture. So her, to be there so you're not looking at a blank screen. And this guy is calling her literally satanic because there's a butterfly in this stock video that she's got running behind her words. Man, that's just not smart, and it's not fair, and it's not right. You owe her an apology. And you know what? As bad as this guy Savage, Magenta, and I know she's hurt. I've heard from her. I know she's hurt. But if this guy would go to her and say, look, I'm so sorry, she would welcome him and hug him and accept him and love him because she's that pure religion and undefiled. That's just the kind of person that she is. And he went very ad hominem on her, making fun of her voice, saying she was mind control. She's having trouble with her throat. And this guy is trashing her about her voice. Come on, man. That is not who you are, sir. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. I don't believe that's who you are. You can be very, very, very much better. The butterfly symbol is a bad symbol. It does stand for mind control, but she didn't make it. It was irrelevant. It was superfluous. And her voice is her voice. I've talked to her on offline, and she talks the same way offline as she talks online. That's just her voice. How are you going to make fun of people for their voice? You're like those lousy, low-integrity individuals when the great Joe Sapiens calls in on our phone call-in show at night, and he struggles with, I'm just going to say it, massive physical challenges, and his voice isn't as clear as mine, and people say, oh, he's drunk, or is this guy? What happened to our compassion? We're supposed to be better than this. You owe her an apology, and you are manifesting the worst of you. Please stop. Please stop. And he says that Magenta says all you have to do is get on the right timeline and just coast. No. You do have to pick the right timeline, but the only way that you pick a timeline, the only way that you stay on a timeline, the only way that you fulfill a timeline is working your ass off on that timeline, manifesting, contemplating, energetically broadcasting. She never said you just get in the boat, just get on the Magenta Pixie channel and ride. She never said that. And she never will. There are two streams in this world. He took her to task for saying, oh, there's two streams. There's this way and this. There is. Look around you. There is a stream and a timeline that's heading towards darkness. It's heading towards everything that they tell us that they think it is, that it's the Bible prophecy, the doom and gloom, the chopping heads, the mark of the beast, the everything's going to crash timeline. There are people that are on that, and they're going to manifest it. But there's another timeline that we are manifesting, and it's the timeline where this world is better than it's ever been, sooner than we can even imagine, and that's going to happen. And guess what? You get to choose which one you want to be on. You got to work your ass off to get on it and stay on it and then manifest it. And if you're on that gloom and doom, I'm afraid you are, sir, that gloom and doom, horrible, everything's going bad timeline, all you have to do is change. All you have to do is change. And you have a basic fundamental misunderstanding of what Magenta means when she says she's channeling, and it's because you didn't take the time to discover what she meant before you took to the airwaves to attack her in hopes of getting another click or two or another subscriber or two or picking up another AdSense dollar or two. Shame on you, sir. Are you really willing to sell your goodness for a few dollars? Don't do it. You're better than that. And I still feel that from the little bit of communication I've had with Magenta and her husband in regards to this individual, all they really want is for this individual to be whole and not be hurting anymore. I think that she sheds a tear down her freckled little cheek, not for herself and not out of anger, but for hurt for this individual that would be so moved as to call her satanic. How the hell are you going to call Magenta Pixie satanic? Have you ever seen Magenta Pixie? If you ever have more than a 3-second conversation with Magenta Pixie, you will know that she is the opposite of satanic. I've always said my oldest daughter and Cynthia are the nicest people I've ever met. I never met Magenta, and it might be a 3-way tie. She's just a beautiful, wonderful, amazing individual. Do I believe everything she says? No, I don't. But I would never say a bad word about her because I understand her. And you got people in this chat room. Oh, does Jeff endorse channeling now? No, but I endorse listening, retard. You're not even listening to what I'm saying to you, of what she thinks channeling is. It's just so sad that people are the way they are. What Magenta is saying is, and right on cue from the low integrity individual in the chat room, she says, and she even said it in that video, and he didn't even comment on it. She says for you to be the channel. I say be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension. And I know, Timothy, I got that. I'm doing the pageant thing too. He says you got me crying. Yeah, I'm doing the pageant thing too. She says be your own channel. Be your own guru. She says the same thing I say, but much, 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 much nicer. Magenta and I say the same things, only she says it much, 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 much nicer. Because she's smarter than me. Point blank, she's smarter than me. I've got that warrior, kick-ass, take names, chew gum. I got that ready, fire, aim thing. Magenta, she's like, now, Jeff, let's ready. How about we ready, aim, fire? Because sometimes if you're ready and you aim, you don't have to fire. And I've already done fired. She's smarter than me. She's nicer than me. She's a better person than me. But he says that it's a bad thing that she tells everybody that they're special. Guess what? We are special. Each and every one of us. We are divine. We are sovereign. We are free. We do have the spark of divinity within us. He wants to paint her as being about just wait for somebody to come save you. And Magenta Pixie always has been, still is, and I believe always will be about establishing self-sovereignty. That's what Magenta Pixie is. Somebody says that Magenta is the high priestess. I'm the Knight of Swords. Maybe. I like the way you put that. Thank you. I like the way you put that. And I think it bothers him that Magenta says we're winning. People tell me I'm hopium, I'm, this and that, and I'm a Trump worshiper, and we are winning. And why do you want to fight the idea that we're winning? Why is it okay for the other people to manifest their doom and their gloom and their crashing of this and the collapse of that and the pole flip and the sun burning us up or the sun going cold and the poles flipping or planet XYZ crashing or this comet or that comet and chopping heads and marks of beasts and tribulations and flames? It's okay to say all that. But when we want to say that the world is going to be better than it's ever been, sooner than you can ever imagine, we're the bad guys. And shame on us, because we don't have the tenacity of the fluffy bunny, magenta unicorn to say, smile, and sweetly manifest our world into existence. If they can manifest their bad, then we can manifest our good. And if we start manifesting our good with as much belief and tenacity as they manifest our bad, we won't have to put up with this so long anymore. And he gets mad because Magenta says that she sees people coming around. A day doesn't go by now. Well, 2 days don't go by now that I don't get a electronic communication that says, Jeff, I used to hate you. Jeff, I'm so thankful to you because I used to be locked into a waiting for a savior mentality. And now I realize that I am divine, sovereign, and free. Not 2 days go by. So when you say that you don't see it, listen, man, there's a reason why you don't see it, because you're not in that frequency, bro. Beautiful things are happening every day. Powerful things are happening every day. Transformative things are happening every day. My eyes aren't welling up with tears because shit's bad. It's because shit's good. And if you don't see it, that's the saddest thing that there can be. That's the saddest thing that there can be. We are winning. We are, and Magenta is all about self-sovereignty. She says, and he takes her to task because Magenta says, be aware of the moon and the sun. And he says, oh, she's astrology. She's playing. Why do you think Magenta says, be aware of the moon and sun? He says, oh, the moon is a reflection of the thing from Saturn. Well, you know what? She probably agrees with you. But instead of telling people what to think, Magenta's all about, consider your moon. Sit down and think about the moon. She's saying, sit down and think about the sun. You know, it's interesting because that other low integrity individual that attacked Pharaoh for Pharaoh saying, look to the sun, son. And Magenta saying, look to the sun, son. I'm saying, look to the sun, son. You can't find three people more different than Magenta Pixie, Young Pharaoh, and Jeffrey Daugherty. But we're all saying, look to the sun, look to the moon. We're not telling you what to look to or what to see. We're just saying, look at it. Maybe Magenta's saying, get out from in front of the television and get out in nature and behold nature. She said, look at, start thinking about aliens and UFOs. She didn't say she believes them. She said, start thinking about it. And if you start thinking about it, you're like, whoa, man, maybe. I believe in extraterrestrials. I just don't think they come from the backside of Uranus. I think they come from extra territory. But they're there. There are craft that are U.S. government, foreign government. But there's some craft and some beings that are coming from some place that we don't know. Maybe under the ocean, 95% unexplored. Maybe under the ground, 95% unexplored. Maybe from these other lands that we have not been given access to or knowledge of. Maybe it's from other times and other dimensions. And if you start thinking about aliens, how do you know she's talking about little brown men from the backside and the dark side of Uranus? How do you know that she's talking about little brown men from the dark side of Uranus? Like Tracy says, you have to be aware of the lies to unindoctrinate. She says, think about Antarctica. She says, listen to the intel people, the insiders. She says, listen to the channelers. I'm not into channeling people that are channeling other beings. I'm all about channeling Magenta Pixie style, channeling myself and ourselves. But, you know, even some of these people that I won't name that I'm a little bit worried about, you get some interesting stuff from them. And Cynthia hits it on the nose. Magenta says, just think about this. Magenta had me at just think. Because so many of you don't. Henry Ford said thinking's the hardest work there is. That's why so few people do it. Maybe Magenta's saying, think about the moon, think about aliens, think about Antarctica, because she just wants you to think. Quit listening to what people say and just think. Just think. I think that more than anything else, Magenta would wish this man love and peace and kindness. And if I had to think of two words to describe Magenta, I don't know if I'd go with fluffy bunny, purple unicorn, or much love? Probably much love. What you did to this lovely being was horrible. I think it shows more about you than it does about her, and I hope that you will get yourself right. Something tells me you're not a bad guy. You're just in a bad place. And the first person that would be willing to extend their hand to help you is Magenta Pixie. Because Magenta Pixie is the embodiment of pure religion, pure worship, pure seeking of our gods and our ancestors and ourselves. She is all about channeling you beyond where you are now. She wants you to be divine. She wants you to be sovereign. She wants you to be free. You owe her an apology, but more than that, you owe yourself a deep, introspective time of discovery to come out on the best side of you instead of the worst side of you. There aren't probably two people in our movement more different than Magenta Pixie and Jeffrey Daugherty. But I am constantly, I just shake my head when I listen to her, because we're saying the same things in different languages to different audiences. And this is the time to embrace one another and to give each other space. Magenta Pixie will reach people and help people and touch people that I couldn't in a million years. And Magenta, I'm sorry, but there's some people that the fluffy bunny, golden frilly unicorn approach won't work with either. There's room for all of us. There's a need for all of us. Be your own guru, guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, channel you from beyond here. There's so much. See, that's the thing you don't get, bro. There's so much more of you than what you are currently accessing. And this beautiful, lovely woman is trying to help you realize that you're better, you're stronger, you're faster, you're more. Rethink this, bro. And if you listen to that thing that he did about her, watch at least 3 Magenta Pixie videos, buy a book, read it. It will change your life. Listen, I've probably read more books than most of you ever will in your entire life. And Magenta Pixie's books remain some of the most profound things that I've ever read. We are timeless. Delaney Black Pearl Jones says that her guides, which I guess is other black pearls, or maybe just different color pearls, that Pixie's natural voice tone frequency is at 432. I'd have to agree. Pure religion, undefiled. Pure religion, undefiled. Helping those that are hurting. Reaching out across paradigms and isms to our gods and goddesses. Contacting our divinity, our sovereignty, and our freedom across all dimensionalities, times, and frequencies. And being the best you can be. And when you're the best you that you can be, and I'm the best me that I can be, then we're the best we that we can be. And that should be our own goal. Don't get so busy trying to be you that you hinder me trying to be me. Because unless I can be me and you can be you, we can never be we. It ain't just black and white and Asian and Hispanic and all the derivations in between. As many outwardly expressing differences we have, those are just mirrors of the inwardly manifesting differences we have. And maybe if we understood how to deal with the different colors we see, we could understand and allow other people to be free while We just focus on being me. I'll be back tonight at 10 p.m. Central Time for our great call-in show, Late Night in the Heartland. And we invite you to listen. We invite you to call in. And until then, remember, you're divine, you're sovereign, you're free. You don't have original sin. You got the spark of divinity within. You don't have to go and bend a knee to anybody else's savior. We're the last generation of real humans. Let's unindoctrinate ourselves and let's get busy. I'll get busy being me. You get busy being thee. And sooner or later, we'll all be free. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. I love me some Magenta Pixie. And I have deep and abiding affection for each and every one of you. I'll talk to you tonight, Brandon. I'm not going to take any calls today. For Jeffrey, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. For the lovely Cynthia, Tracy, our great moderators, please give a thumbs up, give a thumbs down. Please subscribe to this channel. How do I say this without sounding like an idiot? I don't really care if you do, but if you do, it pushes me higher in the rankings and more people see this channel organically. So I do care. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. Let's get busy, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all you do, Magenta. And until next time, I salute you for being here, seeking after truth.